Hey guys, this is going to be my review for every UFC card of the year so far. No script, nothing, just my raw thoughts. Okay, starting off is UFC Fight Night Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker 2. The first one ended in controversy because fucking Ankalaev, like, I think kneed Johnny Walker in the head and, they called it a no contest because Johnny Walker was like, yeah, like the doctor asked, like, where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm in the desert, which he wasn't wrong. But anyway, they did a rematch. This card, I was so fucking happy, to be honest, because that UFC Christmas break kind of fucking sucks. 3 weeks without UFC, I always fucking hate when that happens. Every year I'm pissed off. And like, I usually take like a 3 week vacation during Christmas time from work. And I was watching my dad's house in the middle of nowhere during this card by myself. And it was a really good time and I had fun. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, we got to see Jean Silva, his debut in the UFC, and his walkout was like 4 fucking minutes. It was fucking hilarious. I loved it. And against Weston Wilson, we all knew that that would happen, but he was a huge favorite. I didn't bet on it, but his walkout is what really kicked off the card for me. And it started off with Joshua Van knocking out Felipe Bunez, which was pretty cool too. Nicholas Moda fraud checking Tom Nolan. Tom Nolan, his fight against Alex Reyes, I don't think he's that good. Fareed Basharat versus Taylor Lapilus was a snooze fest. My boy Marcus McGee KO'd Gaston Bolanos. That was awesome. Preston Parsons versus Matthew Semmelsberger. Semmelsberger. Ugh. Hard guy to bet on, Matt Semmelsberger, honestly. Waldo Cortez Acosta beating Andrei Arlovsky. Bro, that fucking sucked. Like, the disrespect to Andrei Arlovsky. But anyway, I remember that fight being kind of boring. Bruno Silva KOs Phil Hawes for the final time. Poor Phil Hawes. Like, so many good skills, but the chin was just not there for him. Rip. Mario Bautista versus Ricky Simone. Oh, that was a great fight. Mario Bautista showed he was levels above Ricky Simone. It was fun to watch. Jim Miller versus Gabriel Benitez. Oh, yeah, I bet on that one. Fucking, that was, I bet on him at underdog odds. That was, I don't know why, for a bit he was an underdog. That was great. He face cranked Gabriel Benitez. And then the final fight, Magomed Ankalaev. He KO'd Johnny Walker in ridiculous fashion again. He bopped him, finished him off on the ground. Okay, then. Next card, UFC 297. I am Canadian from Quebec, and I'm not like repping Canada too much, but like this kind of sucked seeing like every single Canadian male fighter lose. But my girls did good. That was nice, but and one of my favorite fighters, Strawn Strickland, lost. But anyway, I'll start from the bottom. Jimmy Flick submitted Malcolm Gordon. He was getting pieced up the first round and he caught the choke. Meh. That was a Canadian fighter that lost. Jasmine Jazdavicius submitted Priscilla Cachoeira and fucking dominated that fight too. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. Sam Patterson versus Johan Lines. Une Québécoise. Fucking yeah. He fucking subbed Johan Linus. Yeah. Jillian Robertson. Oh yes, KO'd. No, it was strikes from ground and pound. Polyana Vienna. That was pretty fun. I like seeing her win. To be honest, one of my favorite female Canadian fighters. Not that there's many. Ramon Tavares. Yes, I had a bet on this one. That was good. Versus Serhi City. The first fight they had in Contender Series was pretty lame. That they stopped the fight. It was a very bad stoppage, and Ramon Tavares, I think, was deserving of the win. Some people called controversy, but like fucking Surrey City was like bloodied up and beaten to me. And Sean Woodson versus Charles Jourdain. I was actually on a plane with Charles Jourdain going to UFC 303. Really cool guy. I could speak French with him, which is kind of cool because I'm from Quebec too. And yeah, Charles Jourdain's a really cool guy. And anyway, Sean Woodson beat him. It could have gone Charles Jourdain's way, but like it was, I think it was more Sean Woodson. Close fight though. Garrett Armfield beats Brad Katona. This was another close fight too, as well. Uh Garrett Armfield is just a dog, and yeah. Mosvar Evloyev versus Arnold Allen. What happened again? Arnold Allen need Mozar Evloyev when he was down, so that caused some controversy. Um, he won the fight, but I do remember it being relatively close. Chris Curtis, whoa, Chris Curtis versus Marc Andre Barrio. Um, that fight was really boring, but yeah, split decision. Neil Magny versus Mike Malott. Oh my God. Mike Malott was piecing up Neil Magny until the third round, completely gassed out and got fucked up. He was the biggest favorite on the card from what I remember, and Mike Malott's also Canadian. That was the last time I had to see a Canadian lose, and I was like, fuck, man, all my Canadians lost except the females. Raquel Pennington versus Myra Bueno Silva. That was a title fight? Anyway, yeah, it was an okay fight. Pretty boring. I did have a bet on Raquel Pennington, so whatever. And then we have Dricus Duplessis versus Sean Strickland. I think Sean Strickland won that fight, but I'm not gonna. Close fights though, like should be given to the champion, in my opinion, most of the time. He did take down Sean Strickland a lot more, but fuck, Dricus's face was all messed up. I'm not too salty about it, but I think Strickland should have won that fight. Anyway, this card kind of sucked for me. I was not a fan. I left salty after it. Okay, next up is UFC Fight Night Roman Dolidze versus Nasruddin Imavov. It started off with Jamal Pogues versus Thomas Peterson. From what I remember, I think Thomas Peterson poked Jamal Pogues in the eye, and this fight was pretty boring, but Jamal Pogues was just doing a bit more and won the fight. Marquel Medeiros versus Landon Quinones. Another close fight. Fuck, there's really a lot of close fights that happen. But yeah, Marquel Medeiros got the win by decision. It was a little bit boring from what I remember. Luana Carolina versus Julia Stoliarenko. Everyone fucking had her as a favorite, Julia Stoliarenko, because she submitted Molly Meatball, but fuck, man, Molly Meatball is not that good. Like, fuck. Yeah. So anyway, Luana Carolina's not even that bad either. She's pretty good. She should not have been the underdog in this fight. Jung Young Lee versus Blake Builder. I think this is where. No, it's not when he got fraud checked by Kyle Nelson, but yeah, he lost again. Good fights, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Oh, yes. Oh, fuck. This was the highlight of the night. Themba Garimbo versus Pete Rodriguez. Oh, my God. Themba lands an overhand right and knocks out Pete Rodriguez. Oh, it's so cool. Like, Themba Garimbo is. I remember when he came in, I saw a couple of his fights before when I was watching tape. And I was sad after he lost to AJ Fletcher, but he's been on a tear since. It's really cool. The Rocks, like, helped out this guy. And, yeah, I'm gonna keep betting on him. Well, I don't know about betting, but like I'm gonna keep rooting for him. That's for sure. Oh my God, Charles Johnson versus Azak Maxim. Oh, he fraud checked Azak Maxim. Ah, actually, not really a fraud check. It was like close rounds with Charles Johnson just doing a little bit more, but good win. Molly McCann versus Deanna Belbita. Oh, there was 1 second left of the first round. Yeah, got her by armbar, but fuck, man, the arm bars. It, it's hard not to tap them. It hurts like a bitch, you know. Like getting choked out. Like some people like are okay with it, just go to sleep, whatever. But your arm, yo, if it snaps, it's gonna put you out of work for a while. But yeah, good win for Molly McCann. Oh yes, then Charles Radke versus Gilbert Urbina. Oh, he knocked out Gilbert Urbina in the first round. That was a pretty cool a win. Gilbert Urbina is okay, and like fuck, man, Mike Malott would have finished him if they still kept that fight intact. Ugh, Alish Kebab. Oh fuck, Kizriev versus Mahmoud Muradov ended in 11 seconds due to an accidental eye poke. That sucked because I was interested in this fight. Natalia Silva. Oh, that was a good fight against Vivian Aroja. That's all I have to say. Randy Brown versus Muslim Salikov. Holy fuck, I did not expect this to end in the first round. I thought it might go distance with the Muslim Salikov doing a bit more, but like, yeah, he's getting old. Yeah. Ah, Renato Moicano. Renato Money Moicano. Beats Drew Dover. I think it was even money that fight. I was on the Renato side, so that was cool. I should say my losses too. I'm only saying the wins, but I tend to forget the losses is all. Yeah. I like both these guys though, Drew Dober and Renato Moicano. I just thought like Renato Moicano, like I did think in the back of my head that he could get chinned by Drew Dober, but I just thought his jujitsu and grappling was much better than Drew Dober because he's kind of not too good. He doesn't deal with fighters that have good grappling too well, and yeah. And then Nasruddin Imavov versus Roman Delice. I don't like Nasruddin Imavov, to be honest. I am not a big fan of his fights, but yeah, he was deserving of this win. I just fuck man, the guy like that bitch. Ever since fuck man, the way he was acting when he was facing Strickland, like staring at him and fucking like Strickland said, looking like he wanted to fuck him. Anyway, I don't really like Nasruddin Imavov, but yeah, he beat Roman Delice, who's not that good. Okay. Where is it? Hold on 1 second. Okay, next is Hermanson versus Joe Pfeiffer. Um, okay, this was a pretty good card from what I remember. Uh, Daniel Marcos versus Ariki Lang. That fight was meh because it was like an unintentional groin strike. I remember it like got stopped, but it was Daniel Marcos was really putting on Ariki Lang, and yeah, shame for him. Hyder Emil, the first guy to KO Fernie Garcia. I thought that would go the distance because that guy was super durable. He lost every time in the UFC, but finally got put away by Hyder Emil. And Hyder Emil knocked out Jung Young Lee, so that was cool too. Okay, Anthony Smith versus Zach Poga. I mean Bogdan Guskov versus Zach Poga. He was the underdog. I bet on that. That was really cool. I'm only gonna say wins. Fuck it. Yeah. I do lose too occasionally, but yeah. Bogdan Guskov knocked the fuck out of Zach Pogo. There was no fucking surprise on my end. Max Griffin versus Jeremiah Wells. This was a surprise. I think, okay, I'll tell you the loss. I think I bet on Jeremiah Wells to win this fight, or at least parlayed him or something. I think I parlayed him with Devin Clark, which is up next, and they both lost. Uh, yeah, like I from what I remember, I think it was a very close fight. It could have gone either way, and yeah, Max Griffin got the win. Next up, Marcin Prachnio versus Devin Clark. Holy fuck, man. Fucking Marcin Prachnio, you can't really count him out, even though like he does lose here and there. He did lose his last fight. Fuck Wonder Boy style at light heavyweight. It's not as effective, but it was effective in this fight. Devin Clark got cut after this. Loma Lakbumi versus Bruna Brazil. I can't remember it at all. I can't remember the next fight either. Balaji Oki versus Timmy Kawamba. I can't remember that fight at all either. Okay, this one I remember. Carlos Prates versus Trevin Giles. Holy fuck. He got pieced up in the first round and Carlos Prates knocked out Trevin Giles. That was a fun fight to watch and shit, yeah, he was a big favorite, I think, too. Rodolfo Vieira versus Armin Petrosian. That was yeah, he submitted him in the first round. It was a pick'ems fight, and yeah, Rodolfo got the win. Pretty cool. Oh yes, my boy Michael Johnson. I had a bet on him that was so good versus Darius Flowers. I think he was a slight favorite too, Michael Johnson. I really like Michael Johnson's fights, but it is a gamble. Like, is more than a gamble every time you bet on Michael Johnson because you never fucking know. So many good skills, and just sometimes like it is worrisome because usually Michael Johnson beats the best and loses to cans, and Darius Flowers a bit of a can. He's not too bad, but yeah, he just wrestled him a lot throughout that fight. It was fun. I was just happy to see Michael Johnson get a win. Yeah. Gregory Rodriguez chins Brad Tavares in the third round. Yeah. And then we had Ihor Pateria versus Robert Brychek. It was nice to see Ihor get a win. I really like watching that guy fight. He loses a lot, but like I've always been entertained anytime he's on. So like I like to UFC to keep guys like that. He usually just goes in like a fucking dog. Yeah. Dan Ige versus Andre Fili. Ooh, Dan Ige slept Andre Fili and then fucking landed another one on him for good measure. It was a good fight, and he was from what I remember, yeah, performance of the night, yeah. And then Jack Hermanson kind of fraud checked Joe Pyfer. I did have a bet on Jack Hermanson. That was pretty cool. It was probably like a 48-47 from what I remember. But yeah, like Joe Pyfer had like the first two rounds, and then Jack Hermanson got the other three, kept keeping distance and whatnot. Joe Pyfer got a little bit tired. Jack Hermanson wrestled a little bit. Um, yeah, that was an okay fight. Yeah. Hermanson versus Piper. Oh no. Fuck. This was one of the saddest. Okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning. I'll get to it. Miranda Maverick versus Andrea Lee. Yes, Miranda Maverick deserved the win. It was like 2 rounds to 1 or something. It was okay. Obon Elliott beats Val Woodburn. That fight was a little bit boring. I think Obon Elliott got dropped by Val Woodburn in the first round, but he keeps coming back every time he gets dropped. You saw it even on the Contender Series. Yeah, and beat Val Woodburn. Danny Barlow. Ooh, that was he didn't get fighted like one a performance bonus for that fight. Danny Barlow viciously KO'd Josh Quinlan in the third round. That was a great fight. Well, it was the third round. Ming Yang Zhang versus Brenson Ribeiro. I remember a lot of people were picking Brenson Ribeiro. I didn't touch this fight, but yeah, Ming Yang Zhang. I just thought they both suck. So yeah, I didn't touch it. But yeah, Ming Yang Zhang knocked the fuck out of Brenson Ribeiro. pretty viciously. It was a good fight. And then fucking Brenton Ribeiro fought, what's his name? Ashkabab Magomedov Krapovich, fucking whatever the fuck his name is, one of the shittier Dagestan fighters. And yeah, it went to split decision with him. I don't even think that guy's that good. Like fucking like he had a fight with that guy that just fought on the card. What's his name? He fought Zach Reese, the fucking guy that doesn't even get chinned. I don't know his name. Jose Medina. Yeah. He had a fight with Jose Medina, and fuck, he couldn't even do shit to him. Zach Reese looked more impressive against him. And it was down at middleweight. Oh, yeah, I guess that. It was more Jose Medina's size. He was a lot fatter in the 205 fight. Anyway, Rinya Nakamura versus Carlos Vera. I loved this fight. I like jujitsu, and like Carlos Vera's got like really good jujitsu, but he fucking lost because that's all he relied on the whole fight. And yeah, so Rinya Nakamura won by decision, but his jujitsu, he was rolling on fucking Rinya Nakamura's legs and everything. It was fun to watch, and Joe Rogan was practically coming in his pants watching this fight. He said, "Oh, did you see that?" Yeah. Anyway, Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa stepped in for his brother on like 24 hours notice or something, and got leg kicked TKO by Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Not a big surprise. Yeah. Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern. Oh my god, what a fucking fight. That was so good. Fucking it could have gone either way, that fight, but whatever. Fucking Mackenzie Dern got that dog in her, and she got that ass too. Good fight to watch. Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. Fuck, man, I think I had a bet on Roman Kopylov in that fight, and fucking Anthony Hernandez submitted him with a smile on like he's got it locked in and shit. Yeah, anyway, it was fun. Oh my god, then Merab versus Henry Cejudo. Fuck, man, Merab's a fucking machine. I'm gonna tell you right now, I met Merab in Vegas when I was at UFC 303. Really cool guy. Really nice. And I told him he's gonna smoke O'Malley. I do very well think there's a chance of that. But I thought of Sean O'Malley is like so tall for a bantamweight, and Merab is doing this to like little bantamweights, like Henry Cejudo and Piotr Yan. I don't know how he's gonna fare against Sean O'Malley with he's a sniper, and Merab always gets hurt in the first round. So we'll see with that. I'll do a prediction for that anyway sometime soon. But anyway, yeah, he was picking up Henry Cejudo, throwing him on the ground. Good fight to watch, yeah. But yeah, poor Henry Cejudo. Then Ian Machado Gary versus Geoff Neal. They were practically high-fiving throughout this whole fight. It was okay to watch. Split decision. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. And I remember thinking after, it was a crime that this didn't get fight of the night. Even though Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Lemos, I think that was a better fight of the night, but Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa was really good too. Now, I don't want to relive this, but Ilya Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski. Yes, I had money on Alex Volkanovski. And it was fucking painful for me to watch, man. Fucking Volk's one of my favorite fighters of all time. And UFC 294 was a day I'll never forget. Let me start by the night before UFC 294, I was just like, I was praying to the MMA gods that Volk would beat Islam Makhachev, because the first fight was like really close. A lot of people thought Volk had it. And yeah, so I did think Volk would beat Islam, and then I had to watch him get chinned by Islam for the first time, and I'm in my head before that I'm thinking like Volk is like unfucking stoppable, like and like I thought he was like what he could be like one of the greatest fighters of all time. I think if he did beat Islam and then Taporia, there would probably be no doubt. But yeah, so it was a very sad day for me, UFC 294, and then this happened. This I was watching it at home. I remember right when he got KO'd, I just stood there, blank face, no emotion. Yeah, this was a terrible way to cap off the card. But I tell you, ever since then, I uh, I still have my favorite fighters, but like nothing's hurt quite like that. Nothing's hurt like Volk, at least since. Anyway, next card. Oh, UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Royval. Okay, this was I was actually it brought me up a bit because like you know what pisses me off is sometimes when there's a UFC card where something really sad happens, like a fighter I see lose gets like KO'd or something, and then there's like a week off from UFC. That was not the case. I had a card right after to bring me right back up. So this card was it started off with Muhammad Naimov KOing Eric Silva. What was leg kick, and the guy just couldn't take it, and yeah. And then we had Felipe dos Santos versus Victor Altamirano. Look, I thought Felipe dos Santos lost this fight, to be honest, against Victor Altamirano, and like yeah, like it's okay. I don't like robberies that much. And then Ronaldo Rodriguez submitted Denis Bondar. Denis Bondar didn't do much in the UFC. Ferris Ziam versus Claudio Puelles. It was a close fight, but yeah, I think it went to the right guy, Ferris Ziam. Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda. Fuck, man, it's Daniel Lacerda was so fun to watch lose. He always had super entertaining fights, even though he would always lose. I remember his fight with what's his name, CJ Vergara. When he had CJ Vergara running around the ring, oh my god, that was so much fun. But then he got like finished by CJ Vergara. Anyway, yeah, this was a fun fight, but yeah, I think it was Daniel Lacerda's last fight in the UFC. Then we had Jesus Aguilar versus Mateus Mendoza. Uh, good fight, split decision. I'm not gonna call it robbery or anything, but yeah, it was another close fight. Probably should have gone to Mateus, but whatever. Then Raoni Barcelos versus Christian Quinones. Christian Quinones was looking pretty good until he got submitted, from what I remember. Well, it was like the Quinones had like the first round, and then halfway through the second round, I think Raoni Barcelos was starting to pick it up, and then he in the third round he caught Christian Quinones in a submission. Then Manuel Torres versus Chris Duncan. I thought this fight would go a little bit longer, but yeah, like Manuel Torres submits Chris Duncan in the first round. Then we had Yasmin Uruguay versus Sam Hughes. Got to be careful with Sam Hughes. You see, she's live in every fight. But yeah, Yasmin Uruguay is very good and got the win over Sam Hughes, which is more impressive now because like Sam Hughes can be a tough fight to deal with. Then Daniel Zellhuber versus Francisco Prado. Fucking great fight. Francisco Prado is like the new Drew Dober. He's got a chin of fucking steel. Great fight to watch. He just not very defensively sound. Daniel Zellhuber seemed to be getting through at any time he wanted to. Anyway, then Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. He submitted Yair Rodriguez in the third round of 5, and he dropped Brian Ortega in like the first round, but he couldn't really do much when Brian Ortega got on top of him and submitted Yair Rodriguez. I had money on Brian Ortega, so that was fun to see. Speaking of a fighter I had money on was Brandon Royval. Look, I love betting on like dogs like this, like literal dogs too, like that will keep fighting for your money and like just yeah, he has power too, Brandon Royval, but seemed like there was something wrong with Brandon Moreno in this fight because he kind of just stopped like pressing throughout the fight. And Brandon Royval, he wasn't really landing much. It was all like getting blocked, but still, he was just swinging more at Brandon Moreno, and he got the win. It was definitely a split decision. I think it should have been unanimous. It seemed like he just gave up after 2 rounds. Anyway, yeah, this video is getting pretty long, so I'm gonna have to do a couple parts of this. So yeah, stay tuned. Might work on it tomorrow or sometime soon.